Good morning, fourth graders. Today we are on page 261, and our objective today is, today I will compare decimals using a number line and fractions. Okay, so let's look at that. Today I will compare decimals using a number line and fractions. So we're going to use two different strategies to compare decimals. Okay, let's look at our vocabulary. Our first part is reminding us what a decimal is. Our second is reminding us what convert means and plot. Here's our new part. They're just reminding us about our comparison symbols. So I always still remember that my alligator mouth is going to grab the larger one. I also remember that the less than sign right here, where it looks like this, that I always remember it's the less than sign because I could write the word less after it. So that's how I kind of helps to remind me about that. Okay, we have two different sets of steps because we have two different types of problems. The first step says that we're going to write the decimals in fraction form and then convert so both fractions have common denominators if needed. So when you're comparing things, you want them to have common denominators. It's much easier. And then we're going to compare using our comparison symbols. The second one says we're going to divide the number line into 10 equal pieces and label because they're going to give us just a plain number line. It's not going to be partitioned like ours have been in the past. We're going to plot the values on the number line and then compare the decimals using our comparison symbols. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in and get started. Here is my first problem. And it says compare 0 and 4/10. And the way that I knew that is because that's how I would say that. So 0 and 4/10 and 0 and 39 hundredths by using fractions. So these are the two numbers they want me to compare by using fractions. So first I'm going to turn these decimals into fractions. So this is 0 and 4/10. So that's what that fraction would look like. And this is 0 and 39 hundredths. Okay, so 39 hundredths. So they want me to compare those. Now when I look at those though, what I notice is they have different denominators. So I'm not going to be able to compare those very easily. But what I've learned in my past lessons is 4/10 is the same as 41 hundredths. And we saw that in quite a few lessons ago when we were looking at them using the area model, that those would be the same value, 4/10 and 40 hundredths. Okay, so we've seen that they have the exact same value, so I'm allowed to do that because of that. Okay, I can kind of go back and I want to show you where we learned that if you've forgotten. We've seen this on quite a few pages, that 7/10 is the same as 70 hundredths. So the same idea I used here. And then I can leave 39 hundredths the same. So once they have the same denominator, then it's easy to compare them. Well, if the cake was cut into 100 pieces and you have 40 of them, that's what this says, 40 out of 100 and 39 out of 100, it's clear to see that the 40 is larger. So my alligator mouth is going to grab that. So that would be called the greater than sign because I can't write the word less. So 4/10 is greater than 39 hundredths, or 40 hundredths is greater than 39 hundredths. Okay, so again, you want to compare them only if they have the same denominator. Okay, let's look at my next one. This one says, compare 0 and 2/10 and 0 and 25 hundredths by using the number line. Okay, so this time they want me to do it different. They want me to use the number line. They don't want me to use fractions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm first going to plot 0 and 2/10, which means I need to divide this number line into tenths. So I'm going to start cutting it in half, and then I'll cut each of these into 5. So do I have 10 parts? Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I partitioned my whole one into tenths. So this would be 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and 1. Okay, so I can now easily plot where 2/10 goes. 2/10 is right there. Okay, now this is where it gets a little trickier though. This one says 25 hundredths, but this has been partitioned into tenths. So let's stop and think. Remember in our past number lines when these were cut up like this and these were into tenths? So that would be 10 hundredths, because 1/10 is the same as 10 hundredths. And the same, that would be, if I cut this up, that would be 20 hundredths, 30 hundredths, 40 hundredths, 50 hundredths, 60 hundredths, 70 hundredths, 80 hundredths, 90 hundredths, and 1. So knowing that these are equivalent helps me. So where would 0 and 25 hundredths go? Wouldn't it go right between 20 hundredths and 30 hundredths right here? So if this one goes there and this one goes there, well, we can see that this one is larger. So I'm going to use this sign, which is called my less than sign. Okay, friends, let's do some of these together. Okay, we are on, I apologize, let me find our page because I changed it. We are on, I'm finding it as fast as I can. We are on page 262. 262. Okay, and here's our first problem. Compare this and this by using fractions. Okay, so what do we want to first do? We want to put our place values on top. So that's called my tenths and my hundredths, and we say that as and. Okay, in this one we say the decimal is and that's called my tenths. So always put your place values on top. So now we can say this correctly. We can say compare 0 and 59 hundredths and 0 and 6/10 by using fractions. Okay, so this time they want us to use fractions. So how do we write this as a fraction? Well, let's say it as a decimal first. 59 hundredths. So did you all hear that? 59 hundredths. And this one is 6/10. 6/10. Okay, now because this has a 100 denominator and this has a 10, we can't compare them, so we need to change them. So what do we know? We know 6/10 is equivalent to 60 hundredths. 6/10 and 60 hundredths are equal. So now, since they have the same denominators, it's easy to compare them. So which one's more? Well, think about this. This is 59 slices out of a cake that was cut into 100. This is 60 slices out of a cake that was cut into 100. So we would say 59 hundredths is less than 60 hundredths, because remember that's my less than sign. So our answer is less. Okay, take a moment and make sure your notes are caught up if you need to. Okay, let's go on to our next one. Compare this and this by using a number line. Okay, well, what are these? That's and put your mark there. This is and put your mark there. Okay, so how do we say these? Compare 0 and 6/10 and 0 and 9/10 by using a number line. Okay, so since we heard tenths, let's partition this into tenths. Okay, I think the easiest way, friends, is first partition in half. And then I know I need 5 parts here and 5 parts here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 and 5, which is 10. Okay, so this is 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, and 9/10. Okay, so 6/10 goes right here, and 9/10 goes right there. So it's pretty clear to see that this one's larger. So we would use this symbol. We're going to grab the larger. So again, we're using the less than symbol. Okay, friends, when you do these, make sure you're really focusing on putting your place values on top. It's going to help you become a better mathematician. Have a great day. Bye.